The Chicago Bulls put it all together to beat the Indiana Pacers in tonight's game, but they lose star point guard Josh Giddey. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's win, along with the injury update around Josh Giddey. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so tonight, the Chicago Bulls beat the Indiana Pacers at home, 121-103. And I think initially my thoughts here are just that the Chicago Bulls put a great game together on the offensive end and especially the defensive end. I think that they did a terrific job with their rotations and closeouts, and just really they were all over the place defensively, and they were led by their backcourt in Josh Giddey and Coby White. And so before we go ahead and jump into the key takeaways from tonight's game, wanted to first remind you that 72% of you that watch are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure, like Modest Buzelis did in tonight's game, you slam dunk on that subscribe button, as it means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest as we try to reach our end of the season subscriber goal. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the content for today. And looking at the box score, we always like to start with the MVPs on the night. And so I have four. And so I want to start with MVP number one, and that is Josh Giddey. I think that Josh Giddey did a terrific job as far as getting downhill tonight. And I think he did a great job as far as drawing contact. Look, he had 29 points. He had 10 rebounds. He had 4 assists. He had 1 block. He was plus 26 in the plus minus box score. He was 11 of 18 from the field, 2 of 5 from deep, and he also was 5 of 5 from the free throw line. So what I loved most about Josh Giddey is that he just took the initiative to be aggressive for this team early. I think that it really kind of set the tone. And I just love the fact that, look, his patience now and his ability to draw contact, and now he's finishing at the free throw line. He has been a tough guard, and I can tell you that defenses now are definitely rotating even harder out to him at the three-point line, make or miss. I think that I saw that from the Pacers today, just in their rotations. They're closing out extra hard now on him at the three-point line, and so that's a great sign to see because Josh Giddey has been knocking down this shot. But I was impressed with him on the defensive end. Again, the block shot that he had against Miles Turner, that was a great block shot, and you could just definitely tell the activity was there for him. And look, even though he didn't have that many assists tonight, it was okay. And the assists that he did have, they were very good. I liked the one that he had to Coby White in the fast break. He finishes over Siakam there. That was very nice. But it was just more about Josh Giddey being aggressive as a scorer, and then also too locking into another thing that he does well, which is rebounding the basketball. Unfortunately, we lost Josh Giddey at the end of this game. In fact, it came down to the last 7 minutes of the game. He was in the game. He was going up, I think, for a putback, and he comes down on somebody's foot. And it looks like that he has an ankle sprain from what I last read. And I think that's what Billy Donovan was saying. And so they're not sure, what the timeline is going to look like, if he's going to miss games, and if he is, how many he's going to miss. It is the same ankle that he did hurt in the Olympics, and also it's the same ankle that he did hurt against Toronto as well. And so, look, hopefully Josh Giddey is able to come back. I think that he has been having a very great season. I want to see him come back and finish this thing out, and it looks like that him and Coby White are definitely figuring it out. And so we're going to talk about him in a moment, but definitely a speedy recovery for Josh Giddey because, look, he's been playing great. He's been leading the Chicago Bulls. And so next up, my next MVP of the night is Coby White. Coby White, I think he did a terrific job as far as getting downhill. Once again, he scores 20 points, and he has 29 points in this one. He has 7 rebounds. He has 4 assists. He was plus 0, so I mean he was a 0, so he wasn't a negative, but he was not necessarily big in the positive, but still I think it's a very good box score note for that. He was 11 of 20 from the field, and he was 3 of 6 from downtown, but more importantly, he drew a 4-point play in this game. He had several and ones again, and so I think that is something that has been very impressive with Coby White, is his ability to draw contact and finish big inside. I think that is like an added dimension to his game. And if he can continue to do that and then get some consistency, and he's now starting to really click with Josh Giddey, this can be a scary backcourt, definitely, as they continue to kind of grow. And so in 34 minutes, I think that he had a very good game, a strong game, and they both actually led the team as far as scoring. And so he is MVP number 2. I loved what Coby White really just brought to the team tonight. And so next up, I talked about 4 MVPs, and I think that these guys really share it. And I think it's Tre Jones and Vooch, because I think with Tre Jones tonight, look, even though he didn't shoot the basketball particularly well, what he did do is he assisted the basketball at a high level. He had 8 assists. He had 3 rebounds. He had a block shot. He was plus 25, and he didn't even make a 3-point shot tonight in his 34 minutes, along with the 8 points, if I didn't say that. But still, I think that his defense was just great tonight. I think that he was just pesky out there on the defensive end. And I talked about this before, on a video where I was talking about if the Chicago Bulls should go ahead and re-sign him. Man, he is definitely a guy that you are not going to look to get into a pick and roll situation on the defensive end, because he holds his own defensively. And I felt like he was just all over the Pacers when, they were trying to attack him. And so I think there was some great defense. Once again, he's showing off the ball ability to find the basket that way. And then also, too, he's finishing against taller players. And so his layup package has been great as well. And so, look, Tre Jones continues to be just a winner for the Chicago Bulls. And so I think that he played well. And then, you have to give Vooch his credit too as well, because, look, Vooch came off of the bench tonight and he had a double-double. And so, look, Vooch, 11 points, 11 rebounds, and assists, and he was plus 6. Look, he was 5 of 8 from the field. He had a minutes restriction of 28 minutes, I believe, so he only played 24 minutes. But still, look, a double-double off of the bench, that is great to see from Vooch. And so it was good to see him back, and I think that, look, he was a big-time contributor for us in this one. And so now I wanted to go ahead and just kind of jump into the rest of the box score here and take away, just look at the key takeaways from the rest of the team. And so wanted to start with Modest Buzelis. And so, look, Modest Buzelis, 8 points. He had 4 rebounds, an assist, a block, plus 4. He was 4 of 9 from the field in 24 minutes. And so he didn't get double digits in this one, but he did get yet again another block shot. And he actually leads all rookies now, because he has 54 block shots on the year. And look, man, he is finishing very well. And look, man, I hope that, he continues to get the recognition that he so deserves. And I'm not even worried about the fact that he did not score double figures tonight. I think that he's really figured that out. This has just been one of those games for him. But I think that he still played some very good defense out there. And I think that this was a great learning experience for Modest Buzelis. Would like to see him get some more minutes, but it's okay, though. In 24 minutes, I think that, look, he made use of those 24 minutes. And so next up, I wanted to talk about now looking at the bench here and some more key takeaways. And so let's start with Kevin Huerter. And so, look, Kevin Huerter, I think that he played very well off of the bench yet again. 13 points, 4 rebounds, and assists, 3 steals. He was plus 26. 5 of 15 from the field as far as his field goals, and then 3 of 10 from deep. And so what I'm liking about Kevin Huerter is just his defensive activity. I think that he's a lot better defensively than maybe what he's shown before. And so I'm starting to see signs of that. And I definitely see that he's become a lot more comfortable in this offense as far as finding his spots. You can tell he's starting to shoot it a lot more, and he's feeling more comfortable. He's actually starting to kind of look like he was when he was with Atlanta. Like it looks like he's playing that kind of loose basketball. And so that's good to see from Kevin Huerter. And so I think that he was strong off of the bench. Next up, look, I think that Julian Phillips was strong as well. He had a great block shot in this game. I think it was a highlight play. He also had 9 points, 4 rebounds, and assists in 17 minutes, 3 of 5 from the field. But look, man, he hit a nice 3-point shot to really end the run for the Pacers. And so I loved seeing Julian Phillips out there today. I always talk about him and Dalen Terry bringing the energy. Dalen Terry had 2 assists in this one in 4 minutes. I still like the minutes that I saw from him on the floor. And so next up, looking at Patrick Williams, who returned. And so look, Patrick Williams, this was a tough game for him. 2 points, 3 rebounds, He did have an assist. He was +2. And so, look, I think with Patrick Williams, man, this is the time where I thought he would really come in and just be impactful because this team, I think, is playing so well. I think that, his ability to knock down the three-point shot and the way that the guards have been distributing the ball, it just seemed like he would have some open opportunities, but it didn't happen for Patrick Williams. I know he's probably rusty coming off the injury, but, to the point of that, Vooch, look, he's been out and Vooch came right back in and got a double-double, and so I'm not sure what it is with Patrick Williams and if he can be unlocked. But, I thought that this was going to be a game in which he could have had some opportunity. And you could just tell the difference because there was one play where he pump fakes and he gets the defender in the air and out of the way, and he settles for a three-point shot. Buzelis has that same opportunity later in the game, and he goes to the basket and finishes, and that's something that Stacey King pointed out. And that's just really the difference right there. And so I'm not sure what it's going to take for Patrick Williams, but look, it was a tough game, I think, coming back in tonight's game. And so that is the team box score. And now I wanted to go ahead and jump into just now looking at the box score as far as the categories between both teams. And so let me go ahead and bring that up. And so here we go. So looking into this, the key takeaways out of this is 56-39, the Bulls in the rebounds. So the Bulls do a terrific job as far as rebounding the basketball. 18-10 as far as Bulls turnovers. So the Bulls lead in the turnovers. And so, that's something that the Bulls have really struggled with throughout the season is turnovers. 17-7 as far as the fast breaks are concerned. So a tie in that. 68-48. So the Bulls just really beat the Pacers up in the paint. Was talking about how Tre Jones got to the basket. I was talking about Josh Giddey. Coby White, he was getting to the basket. Like everybody was just getting downhill tonight. And so I think that was good to see. 14-4 Pacers in the steals. 6-4 when it came down to Bulls in the block shot department. So a lot of activity there. As far as the field goal percentage is concerned, look, 50% for the Bulls tonight, 36.4 from 3 for the Bulls. And then for the Pacers, 39.6 from the field, 25% from 3. They just could not knock down three-point shots tonight. 30 assists for the Bulls to 49 field goals. And so that is very good to see. And so, look, this is a good win for the Chicago Bulls, but it's unfortunately that they lose their star point guard in this one. Like I said, I think that this team is, they're quietly kind of putting it together here as of late. This is only the second time that they've won three games or, been on a 3-game winning streak. So this is the second time this year. So that was good to see for the Chicago Bulls. Let's see if they can continue that. But again, I think that we got a chance to see this team, just compete. And that's the bottom line, because I've said it before, it doesn't matter who you bring in. If you're not laying down the correct habits, it doesn't matter. And so that is the good thing that we're seeing from this team is that they're going out, they're playing hard, competing at a max level. I think the only thing that I didn't necessarily like in this game is that Jalen Smith didn't play. I think that, that was unfortunate to see with Jalen Smith. He didn't play. And then also, too, forgot to mention with Zac Collins, look, he had 7 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and a block shot. He was plus 17. And I think he had a very good game tonight. But I think it's going to be interesting because now with Vooch coming back, clearly you could see that the rotation has kind of changed a little bit. And I think that this is the opportunity where Billy Donovan could, maybe roll out some, double big man lineups. At least I hope he does do that at some point. And I just think that Jalen Smith, look, if he's healthy, he can still play and give you something. I think that you need to go ahead and throw him out there, especially if, you're planning on moving on from Vooch, but who knows? We do know that Billy Donovan and, these players are trying to maximize this window and try to win as many games as possible. But still, those are the things that I would have liked to see in tonight's game, with the big man rotation and everything else. And so anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking here about this win for the Chicago Bulls. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And as we always say, look, go Bulls, and I will see you on the next one. All right, peace.